Just imagine. If your government could just print as much money as it wanted, you'd never have to worry about taxes, debt, or financial crises. Right? Well, not so fast. Money is the lifeblood of any economy. And understanding why governments can't print unlimited amounts of it is not only fascinating but crucial. Money is something we use every day. But have you ever stopped to think about what it really is? At its core, money is a medium of exchange. It's a convenient way for people to trade goods and services without resorting to barter, which can be quite cumbersome. Money serves three primary functions in an economy. First, it's a medium of exchange, as I mentioned earlier. Second, it's a store of value, meaning it can be saved and used later. And third, it's a unit of account, providing a common measure for comparing the value of different goods and services. Throughout history, various forms of currency have been used, ranging from cowrie shells to gold coins. These early forms of money were often chosen because they had core value. For example, gold was durable, divisible, and had aesthetic appeal, making it an ideal choice. However, in the modern world, we primarily use what's known as fiat currency. Fiat money is quite different from gold or other commodities because it has no core value. Its value is derived from trust in the government that issues it. Fiat currency is essentially a promise. When you hold a dollar bill, it's a symbol of trust in the government's ability to maintain its value. This trust is supported by the government's commitment to controlling the money supply and stabilizing the economy. Let's move to the key players responsible for managing a country's money supply and ensuring economic stability, which are central banks. Central banks are the financial custodians of a nation. They play a crucial role in shaping the country's monetary policy, which, in turn, has a profound impact on its economic health. Central banks typically have dual objectives. First, they aim to maintain price stability. This means keeping inflation in check, as runaway inflation can erode the value of a nation's currency. Second, they work to promote economic growth and employment. Monetary policy is the tool central banks use to achieve these objectives. It involves controlling the money supply and interest rates to influence economic conditions. Central banks have various tools at their disposal, including open market operations, reserve requirements, and adjusting the discount rate. These tools allow them to regulate the money supply and interest rates. One critical aspect of central banks is their independence from political influence. This independence helps ensure that monetary policy decisions are made in the best interest of the economy, rather than for short-term political gains. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter, which is the printing of money. You might be wondering, why can't governments just print more money to solve their financial problems? Well, they can. But it's not that simple. When a government decides to print more money, it increases the money supply and circulation. On the surface, this might seem like a quick fix. But it has a significant downside, which is inflation. Inflation is the general increase in the prices of goods and services over time. It occurs when there's too much money chasing too few goods, leading to rising prices. In extreme cases, excessive money printing can result in hyperinflation, where prices skyrocket at an alarming rate. We've seen historical examples of this, like in Zimbabwe and Weimar Germany. Hyperinflation erodes the value of a country's currency, making it nearly worthless. People need wheelbarrows full of cash just to buy basic necessities. It's a nightmare scenario for any economy. Now that we understand the consequences of printing money, let's explore why governments can't simply print unlimited amounts of it. There are essential limitations and checks in place. Governments must balance two key policies, which are fiscal policy and monetary policy. Fiscal policy deals with taxation and government spending, while monetary policy, as we discussed earlier, relates to the money supply and interest rates. Maintaining a stable economy requires these policies to work in harmony. If a government prints excessive money without a corresponding increase in economic production, it can lead to inflation or worse. Printing too much money can also lead to a devaluation of the country's currency. When the value of a currency drops, it can harm international trade and erode citizens' purchasing power. Moreover, in a globalized world, countries need to be mindful of international financial markets. Excessive money printing can lead to a loss of trust in a nation's economic policies, potentially causing financial crises. Now we look at the role of gold and money printing. Gold has historically played a significant role in the world of money and currency. Especially when currencies were directly tied to gold in a system known as the gold standard. In the gold standard system, the value of a country's currency was directly linked to a specific quantity of gold. For example, the US dollar was once convertible into a fixed amount of gold, e.g., $20.67 per ounce. This link provided stability and a reliable standard for measuring the value of money. Under the gold standard, governments had limited flexibility to print money. They could only issue as much currency as they held in gold reserves. This constraint prevented governments from inflating their currencies by simply printing more money, as they needed to maintain sufficient gold reserves to back their currency. One of the key features of the gold standard was the convertibility of paper money into gold at a fixed rate. This meant that individuals and other countries could exchange paper money for gold at a specified rate set by the government. This convertibility helped maintain trust in the currency. Because the money supply was directly linked to the amount of gold a country held, it was challenging for governments to manipulate the money supply for economic or political purposes. This was seen as an advantage in terms of controlling inflation. Many countries abandoned the gold standard during the 20th century due to various economic and geopolitical reasons. The flexibility of fiat currencies allowed governments more control over their money supply, which they used to manage their economies. While most countries no longer use the gold standard, central banks and governments still hold significant gold reserves as part of their foreign exchange reserves. These gold reserves are considered a store of value and provide a degree of financial stability. To truly grasp the implications of printing too much money, let's examine some real-world cases where governments have faced the consequences. These examples serve as cautionary tales about the perils of unchecked money creation. One striking example is Venezuela, which experienced one of the worst hyperinflations in history. In recent years, the government printed massive amounts of currency, leading to prices doubling every few weeks. The result? Venezuelans faced extreme hardships, struggling to afford even basic necessities. Another notable case is Zimbabwe, where hyperinflation reached astronomical levels. At its peak, the Zimbabwean dollar was practically worthless. Citizens had to rely on foreign currencies, and the economy crumbled. In contrast, countries with responsible monetary policies, such as the United States and the European Union, have managed to maintain relatively stable prices and avoid hyperinflation. This stability contributes to their economic resilience. These examples underscore the importance of prudent economic management. They remind us that while governments do have the power to create money, they must exercise this power judiciously to protect their citizens' well-being. Printing money without proper constraints can lead to inflation, currency devaluation, and, in extreme cases, hyperinflation. Balancing fiscal and monetary policies, as well as maintaining trust in the currency, is crucial for economic stability. Central banks play a pivotal role in ensuring these policies work harmoniously. We've seen how countries like Venezuela and Zimbabwe faced devastating consequences due to unchecked money printing. These examples serve as stark reminders of the importance of sound economic management. If you found this video informative, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing it with others who might benefit from this knowledge. Leave your thoughts and questions in the comments below. We love hearing from our viewers.